Good morning to all of you on this beautiful Saturday morning. I'm so happy to see you all, everyone that has joined us. My name is Julie Grindle. I'm the assistant to the Bishop for Candidacy and Mobility in the Upstate New York Synod. I am your resident liturgia nerd, so I am sort of piggybacking today on the Bishop's Thursday 9 at 9 when he talked about Psalm 23. So for those of you who might not be aware, this coming Sunday is the fourth Sunday in Easter, which every single year in the lectionary is Good Shepherd Sunday. And so here we are, just 2 weeks into the Easter season, 3 weeks almost, and we're talking about Christ as the Good Shepherd, and we're still singing all of our refrains, worthy is the Lamb that was slain, right? So we get this Good Shepherd Sunday, and we're still talking about the Lamb. So we're in this both and fantastically Lutheran theology of Christ as both Lamb and Shepherd. And on Thursday, the bishop talked about Psalm 23, which is the appointed psalm on the fourth Sunday of Easter every year. And he talked about how those of us who have served in churches certainly have sung and spoken Psalm 23. It's probably the most well-known psalm out of all 150 psalms. Many of you on right now probably could say it by heart from any edition of the Bible that I asked you to, or most of them. In fact, if I just sat here right now, you could do it. You could probably also pick any of your favorite hymns out of the hymnal that are based on Psalm 23. You have likely done it at a funeral, sung it or said it at a funeral. It probably has deep meaning for you. It is an absolutely beautiful psalm because of that deep meaning that it brings. And I wanted to bring it to you again today because of that. It is truly one that speaks to us on a deeper level. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. And the song that I'm bringing to you today is a setting of that psalm. The text is pinned in the comments, and I invite you to take a look at it as I talk about it. I'm only going to talk about it for a minute or two because when we sing through it, I'll invite you to consider it as a prayer. It is the refrain, of course, may be very familiar to you if you've sung this in church before. The refrain is, "Shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants, beyond my fears, from death into life." So it's not just, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. But now we're saying, shepherd me, O God, beyond those wants, beyond my fears, from death into life. That sort of can become a mantra to us, especially in these very difficult days. I think that when we struggle here in our homes, when we struggle to see what people are going through outside of our homes, perhaps we don't feel shepherded. Perhaps we feel a little bit left alone, in fact, and that can be very, very difficult. And in fact, we need to feel that presence with us. And so as we sing this psalm together, I invite you either to sing the refrain or the refrain and the verses if you know this setting of the psalm. But before that, I would like to share with you a commentary on this fourth Sunday in Easter by Gordon Lathrop, who is a retired professor from Philadelphia Seminary, about Christ as Lamb and Shepherd. And this is what he has to say. He says, "Lambs do not sit on thrones, nor do they act as shepherds to the flock. In Israel, and in the Near East generally, the tradition was indeed to call the kings and leaders of the people shepherds, and thereby to call the people flock. But what is meant that the lamb is the shepherd? It is, of course, the truth about Jesus that is so spoken. He is made a weak and finally a slain man, a nothing. Yet this very one knows his own, calls them by name, will allow no snatching out of the flock. One who is no king at all is the only king. One who is no shepherd is the good shepherd for all the peoples. It is the resurrection of the crucified one which is spoken by these images. In his knowing us, that is his being in the midst of our agony, knowing it by sharing it, we are placed irrevocably in God's hand. But how shall we know that? Come to the table, eat and drink. In the address of the body and blood to you, hear the shepherd's voice calling you by name, knowing you and your need. Here is the end of hunger and thirst, the beginning of the wiping away of all tears, the flowing of the spring of life-giving waters. I commend to you today this psalm in your life to bring you comfort in these difficult times and as prayer this morning. May this be a blessing to you today. Feel free to sing with me. Shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants, beyond my fears, from death into life. God is my shepherd, so nothing shall I want. I rest in the meadows of faithfulness and love. I walk in the quiet waters of peace. Shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants, beyond my fears, from death into life. Gently you raise me and heal my weary soul. You lead me by pathways of righteousness and truth. My spirit shall sing the music of your name. Shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants, beyond my fears, from death into life. Though I should wander the valley of death, I fear no evil, for you are at my side. Your rod and your staff, my comfort and my hope. Shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants, beyond my fears, from death into life. You have set me a banquet of love in the face of hatred, crowning me with love beyond my power to hold. Shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants, beyond my death into life. Peace be with you today.